Minaj destroying Prince Harry and Meghan Markle following her union with President Trump, telling him to go home, just like E.T., and leave the USA once and for all. But this intervention from Minaj actually shows something far more serious that Tom Bauer is also getting into. One of the reasons that he wants to leave the USA is because after the Andrew scandal, Harry is now fearful of what is coming for him. So we're going to get into all of this today with royal YouTube sensation P. Diner. But first, sit back and enjoy the common sense. And it's not often we see common sense coming from a major A-list celebrity. Here's Nicki Minaj.
What's your take on Harry and Meghan then?
Well, I think he should go home. Like E.T. He should go phone home and then go home. I did not think he should have aired the family's dirty laundry, but that's just me, darling. I have nothing but love for them, for everyone, but I love the royal family as if I know them. But I think Americans, we love the idea of the royal family so much. And I just was like, but people do things and you don't know why and you don't know what's going on inside of them. So I don't judge. But I was like, oh man, because I felt like I knew them in some way. So I was like, Harry, no, don't do that. You know better. You know what I mean? But he did what he did.
Quite a good English accent there from Minaj. But P. Diner, look, there is something more serious to this, isn't there? Because it was that moment when he sold out on the family, which dates right back to Oprah Winfrey, that really changed everything. I guess Nicki Minaj now feels like she can speak out, given she's no longer part of the woke celebrity elite class, given she's had this union with Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's pretty emboldened now to express herself because the majority of the left, I guess, are really pro Harry and Meghan at some extent, I think. But I think it's good that she said that because that has been the consensus, I think, from a lot of Americans. People in general don't like to see you air your family's dirty laundry, and they don't want to see you disloyal to your family, especially if you're high profile. It just shows you to be somewhat of a rat, right? And people don't like that. So Harry has shown himself to do a lot of things that most people do not like. Therefore, they're not going to gain favor from people. The deal has been done. They've done the things that they've done, and they can't turn back now. Harry's put some of it in writing. So at this point, there's just no redemption. There's just no way for you to recover from this. And I think that was good advice for sure from Nikki, because a lot of us are thinking the exact same thing.
Well, of course. And actually, on a more serious note, Tom Bauer, who, of course, is very close to coming out with the second edition of his Meghan and Harry book, which is expected to include Big Revelations Revenge Part 2. But Harry is genuinely concerned now about what Andrew being stripped of his titles means for him. Watch.
Prediction is that Harry is terrified by the stripping of Andrew's title and told Meghan in no uncertain terms that once it's King William, they could well all lose their titles and lose everything. And I'm a betting man. I'm pretty sure that's what William will do. And it's the only way to save him from trouble, to get revenge, and to actually save the monarchy too. He can't afford to have the Sussexes and Montecito challenging him. And I don't think Kate would tolerate it either. So if I was Harry, I'd be nervous of his brother ascending the throne.
And I mean, this is what is so interesting, P. Diner, with everything that has emerged from this week. Even the line of succession now being discussed. all of a sudden it makes Prince Harry and Meghan Markle far more vulnerable. So there's that irony that even though Nicki Minaj is saying, go home, Harry, just be like E.T., actually, that's what he wants because he feels he needs to try and protect himself, try and protect his titles, try and protect his children's place in the line of succession. Actually, do you know what? Maybe even try and protect his own place in the line of succession. That's how serious things have got.
Mm-hmm. And I think at this point, Harry is looking at his life when William does ascend the throne, how much differently it's going to look for him. So he's trying to get in right now while the king is still alive to try to get whatever he can from his father. But once William does ascend the throne, it's going to be game over for Harry. And I think William will have to prove him realistic things to show he is not remaining in step with what was done previously, like really making hard decisions and stripping the titles, even questioning the birth of the children. I think there's going to be so much more that they are going to lose control from once William is there on the throne, that they're not going to be able to do anything. Their hands are going to be tied and their lives completely changed, I believe, forever. And so I think this is what we see right now, Harry trying to get back to the UK, trying to do what he can, because he always talks about, I'll still come back and I'll work if they need me to. First of all, don't nobody want you to come and work and do anything. The fact that he even thinks he could be asked to do anything is like crazy to me. But that's his mindset. He wants to be back doing what he used to do. And the only way to get back to that is right now while the king is still alive. So this is Harry against the clock, essentially, trying to make sure that he is taken care of, or at least while the king is alive. But I think he's scared for what's going to happen. Absolutely. Because William is not having it. He doesn't want anything to do with Harry. I mean, it's done.
Totally. It is all falling apart. And it is all falling apart. What's so interesting on both sides, because there was another really shocking development in the Kardashian Photogate conflict with Meghan Markle this week. And it came from our friend Rob Shooter, who revealed that Meghan Markle had actually made a panicked phone call to Kris Jenner, but as usual, in her arrogance, Dinah, rather than actually apologizing profusely, which I think is what she should have done, that wasn't what Meghan did when she called up Kris Jenner. Instead, she said that she wanted some sort of retraction from Kim, that she was complaining that Kim's explanation didn't protect her carefully managed narrative. A source telling Rob Shooter, Meghan wanted it framed as sensitive and complex. Kim framed it as, oops, no big deal. That disconnect triggered the panic. No. She just told the truth. She just told the truth, Dinah. And actually, just in case you missed it, here was the moment where she told the truth about the party crasher. Watch.
Would come in.
Should we talk
and
about the party
know who it
crasher?
is, and it was like a crazy mix.
Oh
and
my
now
God.
it's like
We were told that it was totally cool to post. And then after it was posted, I think they realized it was Remembrance Day and they didn't want to be seen at a party, even though it's already up.
Mm-hmm.
And then taken down. And then I think they realized, like, oh, this was so silly.
And they did Baby to Baby right before.
Well,
they
it's
did
like a
red
charity
carpet.
event. So, like, that was fine, but maybe not partying and dancing on the dance floor and whatever. So we took them down
'Cause we're
to
respectful.
respect Remembrance Day.
Yes.
And then, you just got to laugh at, like, the situation sometimes.
I mean, how dare Meghan call up Kris? But it shows this is a woman who genuinely still does think that her faux royal status gives her a power in Hollywood that actually she never had, apart from in her own mind.
Right. It's the delusion of this woman, always trying to create a narrative to try to create things to look one way when the reality is the complete opposite. She is an uptight woman that just can't roll with it. Meghan has to come to the reality that she has created an image of herself that we already see. We see you trying to create this. But because of this age of information that we're in now, the reality is the truth of what we actually see. So you can keep trying to create and pretend in your head that you are a certain kind of a way. You want people to do things because you ask them to, because in your head, Megan, you are very important. But guess what? You're not. You are insignificant. And what you say doesn't matter to people. And that has been what has been your downfall, what has made you who you are that we see. We don't like you. We don't like how you try to portray yourself. You have completely ruined everything about this opportunity that you had. And so Kim, and I think what has made her last so long, she's just real with it. Hey, the reality is this. Oh yeah, I did this. Oh yeah, I did a sex tape too. I did this and this, and look, and I'm moving on, and I'm doing something else. Like that's what you have to do. Megan is still living in the 90s where you could have a PR agency writing lies about you and no one knew the truth. We see the truth, and Megan doesn't understand that. She's just so delusional in her thinking. The gig is up, girlfriend. So yeah, I'm glad Kim came out and said what she said, and we love Kim for it because she keeps it real. We like just keep it real, and that's what she did. We love it.
Exactly. She does keep it real, unlike Meghan Markle, whose was never brand, is now actually ripping off its loyal customer base. It was our Royal News Network who got to the bottom of this, revealing, is Meghan Markle ripping people off with her latest as ever launch, specifically with the spread and chocolate duo? Individually, the spread is sold for $12, no keepsake packaging, and the chocolate bar for $14. Together, that equals $26. But Meghan is charging $29. Why are people being charged the extra $3? Don't know, but it seems like a rather big ripoff. The other chocolate bar and sprinkles set, at least together, would equal $29 if purchased individually, but the spread without the keepsake packaging and the bar would not. Better off purchasing them individually, which makes the idea of a duo rather stupid and pointless. Also, shouldn't two products bundled together technically be a little discounted compared to retail? Her Valentine's Day edit is also just all the retail prices of all the items without any extra benefit. That's how businesses usually do it. Either way, a seemingly massive fail of basic math and good business practices here. Oh well, it's apparently only her fans who purchased, and apparently they like to be suckered.
Dan Wootton raises a series of claims that deserve closer examination, not because they are sensational, but because of what they imply. In this segment, he leans on three main threads. First, a pop culture clip, Nicki Minaj joking that Prince Harry should go home, alongside her broader discomfort with what she calls airing the family's dirty laundry. Second, Dan amplifies a prediction attributed to Tom Bower's analysis that Harry is now terrified by the precedent of Prince Andrew losing titles, and fears that a future King William could strip titles more widely. Third, the conversation expands into a pattern claim that the Sussex brand is allegedly collapsing through messy marketing, questionable pricing, and online fan behavior, with an added allegation that some recent Harry content appears AI or heavily edited. My aim here isn't to litigate personalities. It's to examine incentives, framing, and what this style of commentary does to the wider story. Start with the Nicki Minaj clip. Dan presents it as common sense breaking through a celebrity culture that, in his telling, has been reluctant to criticize Harry and Meghan. But notice the mechanism. A light, humorous remark, phone home, is used as an anchor for heavier conclusions about exile, disgrace, and moral judgment. That's a familiar media technique. Take a memeable moment, then let the audience emotionally carry a much larger argument on the back of it. The risk is obvious. When entertainment commentary becomes evidence, the line between what's funny and what's true starts to blur. Next, the title's question. Dan's core suggestion is strategic. If Andrew can be stripped of status, then Harry could be next, and that fear, he argues, explains Harry's alleged urgency to resecure a position while Charles reigns. That is plausible as a theory of incentives. But it remains a theory. It depends on multiple assumptions, that stripping titles is politically straightforward, that it is likely that William would choose it, and that it would be framed as necessary to save the monarchy. Here's the analytical problem. In constitutional systems, outcomes are rarely driven by one person's preference alone. Even if a future monarch privately believed titles should be removed, the process involves law, politics, public mood, and the danger of creating a precedent that can't be contained. Dan presents title removal as an almost clean solution. In reality, it could be a high-risk move that reopens the entire question of royal legitimacy and the limits of royal power, precisely the kind of controversy institutions try to avoid.
It's shocking, isn't it?
That just goes back to the delusion of this woman and what she does. Her pricing, everything about her just doesn't make sense. It seems to be uh, a way that she feels it's validated, but in reality, it's not. Meghan doesn't, I think, live in a world that is reasonable. And I think this is why everything around her brand and her products and everything is just not reasonable. It just falls in line with, her personality, the way she sees herself. And this is why you get the products the way you get them, because everything seems to be in this fantasy land and doesn't make sense and it's not reality. And to me, I think, yeah, only her fans are the ones who are suckered into the things that she is doing. I mean, my whole thing, Dan, was, Megan even releasing this As Ever brand with her new image being, married to Harry. Okay, that's her new image, her branding. She never gave herself time to establish a proper image or brand about who she is, what she stands for. She never gave people enough time to really kind of attach on to this woman that we didn't know much about. And then we would decide, yeah, we kind of like her because she's doing good work, she's helping out people. She was in such a hurry just to go do any and everything, the podcast, the Oprah, the Netflix, the brand of As Ever. Like, she was rushing to do all these things she could not do before meeting Harry. And she just went too quickly, trying to do too much. And this is why everything has failed. This kind of a brand should never have been launched until she had established herself for at least about 10 years, to get her popularity up. And then people would buy it because they liked her. She was popular, but it was just premature. And so she's going to try different things to make it work because that's her being desperate right now. But it won't work because everything has been too much too fast. We don't really like her now because of what we have seen her do. And we don't want to buy because we don't really like her and what she stands for. So it's a lost cause. It's worthless, but she's going to keep trying. I mean, what else can she do? She has to, because I mean, Harry put a lot of money into this. I mean, he bought a lot of products, didn't he?
Yes, but what's so hilarious is even Netflix don't want the crappy products, right? Because Sarah Nathan of the New York Post actually revealed that there are jars of Meghan's unsold jam overflowing at Netflix HQ, with staff helping themselves to free As Ever products as the streamer's Los Angeles offices are filled with Meghan Markle's wares. Apparently, there are 2 storage rooms packed with As Ever product. They're literally just giving it away to employees. One staffer walked out with 10 products for free. We're told jars of jam, candles, wine, and Meghan's famous flower petal sprinkles being kept in storage rooms at the Icon Tower and Epic building at the sprawling Netflix campus in Hollywood. Jars of Meghan's unsold jam are, let's be honest, not popular, Pete Diner, even amongst the people who were meant to be profiting from it. Doesn't that tell you everything you need to know?
Absolutely. They are sick of this woman's products because it's just too much. Like, this woman has so much product that, I mean, you're just now making people like not really be interested in it because there's too much. There's no limit on the products to make a demand for it. And it's like, for these people at Netflix, I guess it's a good way to get something for free, but it's too much for free. I think this is what's part of the problem with her brand as well. Meghan has done something that makes even the people that were once supporting her revolt from the products. It's quite astounding, isn't it, Dan?
It
I don't
is
know.
astounding in so many ways. Also astounding this week, P. Dina, Prince Harry at this surf school. What the hell is going on? I mean, Nancy Sidley put it this way. Times are definitely tough. Harry isn't just merching the surf school, he's merching the board, the wetsuit, the photographer, the videographer, the whole production package. But the problem is that, do you really believe that the video is even real? Because as the Royal Rambling Substack pointed out, I'm not one of these people always looking for reasons to criticize Meghan and Harry, quite the opposite. But within seconds of starting the clip, I decided it had to be AI, or at least AI enhanced, to put it mildly. And I mean, here is the video. There is nothing real about this. I am sorry, it is embarrassing that anyone would think we would be suckered by this, and for Harry to presumably give his permission for this to be used just blows my mind. I mean, hands on this posted. Anyone who believes this is real is delusional. This has to be the cheapest AI video I've ever seen. What is that guy even doing? Is he grabbing Harry? If you go to the beach and surf, people might believe it, Harry. Stop trying to trick people with this nonsense. It's like, P. Dina, who is advising them? Who is allowing this nonsense to get out there?
They're just such a joke. I mean, really. And you know what? When I saw that, Dan, when the guy fell behind him, like there was no like ripple effect. Like Harry wasn't even fazed by it. That's how you know it's fake, because he was so close to Harry that it should have caused him to kind of stumble or do a little bit of an extra kind of a move from falling behind Harry. Nothing happens. And so, that's one way you can tell it's not real. It's completely fake, because Harry is just going on doing what he's doing. And not one time is he affected by that guy falling behind him. So that you using this shows you how you are so cheap in your head that you think people are going to look at this and think it is real. That I think that's what too much privilege gives you. Your reality is so warped. You can't even understand that we see this. We see how fake it is. It's, oh my goodness. It's embarrassing. It is so embarrassing. You came from royalty, and now you are putting up fake AI videos of you, making us think that, or trying to make us believe it's actually real. That is laughable. How far you have fallen, Harry.
It really is. It really is. Dana, who does her own pop culture podcast, has also this week, P. Dina, exposed the Sussex squad as being the worst group of fans in the world. Now, I could have told her that. Yep, they're worse than the Swifties. They're worse than the Blake bots. Absolutely. I could have told her that, but I do like this message getting out to the world. Watch.
It's funny that, my job is reporting on, celebrity pop culture, all that kind of stuff. And yet, it always raises the bar, the people that I post about that have the craziest fans. And I didn't think I could get worse than some of the Blake bots. And then when, of course, I was talking about some of the Bravo stars. But you know where they are? It's the Meghan Markle fans. Meghan Markle fans are worse than Taylor Swift fans. They're worse than Candace Owens fans. They are the worst, meanest, attacking people if you don't just obsess over their person. And listen, my post was not even about Meghan. It was about her candle. And Meghan's candle came to me without a wick. I'm really sorry to tell you guys. And I'm really sorry to share that negative, feedback. But she should know that her candle is being sent out without a wick. It's important. It's important information, and I stand by it.
Of course it is. That's Dana Bowling, of course, host of the Daily Dose of Dana podcast, P. Dina. But the bigger point that she makes there, I think, is really important, because the Sussex squad, I have said for a long time, is the worst gang of internet trolls in the history of the World Wide Web. And given Harry and Meghan constantly preaching and advocating against big tech, against online abuse, it still remains, to me, one of the biggest ironies in the world. And remember, in all of their interviews, P. Dina, Harry and Meghan have not once been asked about the Sussex Squad, and they have also never chosen to condemn their behaviour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think by not condemning it, you condone it. You can't just ignore it. And you can't try to make yourself an advocate for women when you have women who are your fans doing horrible things to other women. This just speaks to the behavior of Harry and Meghan because of their fans. They are a reflection of their fans. And they don't want to address it. They won't say anything because they are in line with it and they do approve of it. I would almost even say try to uh, help them to continue doing these things by giving them certain access, So their fans are people that are not in reality with Harry and Meghan. And to her point about, Meghan knowing about her wick, her candle not having a wick, that's the thing. You would think that would be important information. That would be information you would want to use to better yourself. But the problem here lies in not wanting to better yourself, not wanting to do the right thing, and continue to be a bad example and to put out poorly uh, products products that have been in production that continue to make the same mistake. You are just with your head in the sand about everything. Your fans, your products, the things that you do, the hypocrisy around what you do, and that's just not a combination for anything that is going to be winning. At the end of the day, it's going to be you showing how you're going to continue to fail because you don't address things that are important to be addressed. And that is what, I always say, you have to be willing to learn, to improve and be better. And when you're not open to learning and being better, you're bound to keep failing, doing bad things or not doing better things to help yourself. And it's just a recipe for disaster. And that's what we see with Harry and Meghan. This is why there's so much to talk and say about them, because they keep doing the same things over and over again and not trying to improve and better themselves. And that's what you need to try to change if you want to change your story and who you are seen by or how we see you. You have to be willing to change that. But they're just going to, I guess, keep doing the same things over and over again. It's insanity. Isn't that what they say?
Yes, it is. It is. Spot on analysis as ever. There's that term again from P. Dina, who you must subscribe to.
Then there's the segment's wider architecture. Dan intercuts royal scandal, celebrity commentary, product pricing, and online fan behavior into one composite narrative, the implication being that these are all symptoms of a single unraveling. That kind of packaging is powerful, but it can also be misleading. A brand dispute, an online fandom problem, and serious allegations tied to entirely different individuals don't carry the same moral weight and shouldn't be treated as interchangeable proof of who the real problem is. On the consumer claims, pricing, product bundles, alleged oversupply at corporate offices, those are the easiest to verify in principle, because receipts, listings, and inventory practices leave trails. But even there, the rhetorical leap matters. Questionable pricing becomes delusion, and unsold stock becomes total failure. A careful approach would separate what can be checked from what is inferred. Poor execution may indicate inexperience, a rushed rollout, or simply misreading demand. It doesn't automatically prove a deeper psychological story, even if that story plays well on YouTube. Finally, the Sussex Squad point. Dan highlights a podcaster claiming harassment from Meghan supporters, and argues that Harry and Meghan have not condemned abusive behavior. That raises a legitimate question, but it also needs consistent standards. Online abuse is not unique to one fandom, and the ethical test is simple. If you benefit from a highly mobilized supporter base, you also inherit responsibility to discourage harassment clearly, repeatedly, and without loopholes. If Dan wants that standard applied, it should be applied across public life, not selectively. So what does this video do? It narrows a complex, multi-actor story into an emotionally legible frame: heroes, villains, decline, and payback. That framing is compelling, but it can also flatten uncertainty, replace evidence with insinuation, and convert structural questions into personality dramas. If the goal is genuinely investigative, the next step isn't another punchline. It's verification. What, exactly, is being proposed on titles? What mechanisms would be required? What evidence supports the claims of panic, AI manipulation, or coordinated harassment, and which parts are simply commentary dressed as certainty? Because in moments like this, the biggest risk isn't to any one individual's reputation. It's to the audience's ability to tell the difference between proof, prediction, and performance.